Friday video.
Yes.
Drinking video.
Of course. The original series of Tomb Raider games aren't exactly paragons of realism, what with all the Yetis you, the main character, shoot to death. Amusingly though, according to official in-game canon, the first iteration of Lara Croft was well aware of how dumb her adventures were, and as a result, actively refused to talk about them to the press.
So it's a drinking video.
Yes, it is.
Where is your drink?
Well, there's a bucket of beer here, so I'm going to pick one up. So this is Desperado, it's the beer we're drinking today. And Brad, you've gone out into the house today and found an object for me to open this beer with like I did last week. There's no camera trickery involved here. It's just like I'm well trained.
So last week we went for difficult. We did a cricket ball.
Yeah. See last week's video for that one.
This week I've gone for flair.
Okay.
So I've brought with me a little plastic toy Eevee.
Pass that shit here. Eevee is going to headbutt this fucking... Oh God, I'm really sorry, Eevee. You might not have a face by the end of this one. You know what? I'll use the feet.
I was going to say use the bottom.
Yeah, I'm going to use the bottom. So this is a little plastic Eevee. Sorry for the camera. I'm going to open a fucking beer with it. No trickery involved. Just well, that was a lot easier.
That was actually much easier than the bottle.
Thanks, Eevee. Should also point out, this isn't the first beer I've drank today. It's just the first one I'm drinking on camera. So let's continue talking about Lara Croft.
Most people nowadays are probably more familiar with the Uncharted-style gritty reboot of Lara Croft.
They are, yes. So we're talking about, though, the original mainline series, triangle-titted Lara Croft. There we go. I was waiting for that. We're talking about like all polygon tits herself, like that version of Lara Croft, like in the mainline season. People who maybe didn't play those games or have just forgotten how stupid they were. Those games were all kinds of ridiculous. Like, so to get us to jump off, for a start, in those games, Lara Croft discovers both the Ark of the Covenant and the Spear of Destiny, aka the spear that pierced the side of Jesus Christ, meaning that in the original Lara Croft timeline universe, Jesus was real and so were the people who killed him. And fun fact about the Ark of the Covenant, if you don't remember discovering it in those games, it's actually in Lara's front fucking room from the very first game in the series as a homage to Indiana Jones, which inspired parts of it. Meaning, Lara Croft uses the Ark of the Covenant as a fucking doorstop.
Is it? I don't remember it being there. Is it just a decoration in a house?
Yeah, it's a decorative item. It's like in the training room, Joe, you do all the backflips.
Yeah.
It's just there. And it's the Ark of the Covenant, and it's just in her front room, just there, just sat there doing nothing. And she's got that shit. And the thing as well, that as well doesn't really sell Lara Croft in those games as like, you know, an archaeologist because she stole it and put it in her house.
But that's not even scratching the surface of what Lara Croft discovers in these games.
No.
There's fucking dinosaurs.
Yeah, they're just the relics she's found. Like, you can put a list down below of all like the crazy ass relics she finds throughout those series of games. But yeah, Lara Croft fights dinosaurs in the Congo. She shoots yetis. She meets mummies, ancient spirits, demigods, a dragon. Like, there's even what, like, if you think like, okay, that's all crazy bullshit, but we're not done yet because as well, there's one game in the series where original Lara Croft goes to Area 51 and can backflip over an alien corpse, meaning in that universe, not only is like, you know, like virtually every religion like correct because all of their ancient, like, you know, mythical artifacts are real and have the powers associated with them. Aliens are also real, as is Bigfoot and the Yetis and dinosaurs and dragons. In that universe, what the fuck do history books look like? Like, because creationists are kind of right, because the Bible literally happens, like, in that universe, but also dinosaurs?
Do the artifacts that she finds, are they, like...
No, this like...
Do they have power?
The Spear of Destiny is in these games, mate.
Or it could just be the spear that pierced a mortal man who everyone came to call Jesus.
Mate, there are mummies in this game. There are ghosts. There are dinosaurs. There are dragons. There are aliens. There are UFOs. It's like, there's a bit where you fight ghosts. Which means that Lara Croft had discovered definitive proof of there being some kind of afterlife. And her response is to just backflip through a series of puzzles and just like pick up a small urn and run back to her house.
I love the way that she, her combat style is two pistols. And the fact that she doesn't need to put them down to do most of her stunts.
Yeah, because you know what? She's fucking that good. So that's why I like the Angelina Jolie movies, where it establishes that Lara Croft spends much of her time learning how to constantly just fire two guns. Like, she studied under Christian Bale in the Equilibrium universe. Lara Croft just knows how to do gun kata. She cannot be stopped.
Can we rewind to the alien bit?
Yeah.
Was that in Chronicles?
I don't know. I just know.
Because I don't remember him meeting an alien, but I've seen the picture.
Yeah, in one game, you go to Area 51, and while you're in Area 51, you see a UFO and an alien. Which means that aliens exist in that universe, as does Jesus Christ.
It's probably a good thing then that they rebooted it so they could ground it a bit more in reality for people.
You say that, but like in the reboots, Lara Croft just like machine guns hundreds of people to death while simultaneously like just running through collapsing mountains forever. So I'm playing through Rise of the Tomb Raider at the moment, and every single battle that you have always starts with like a group of 7 people throwing endless grenades at your direction as I just like scramble across the floor towards them and beat them all to death with an ice axe before doing like bow and arrow combos to their dying bodies. There's a bit in that game, it's like where you get taught how to craft a Molotov cocktail and you're prompted to throw it at 3 people having a conversation. It's like, yeah, what an archaeologist this is. Yes, they're an evil cult looking for a relic that grants immortality, but at that moment, they are people with their back turned who pose no threat to you. And you are prompted by the game to throw just a Molotov cocktail and burn them all horribly to death. There's even a bit in that game where a guy gets his eyes gouged out by the main bad guy. And he's just on the floor after like a combat scenario. And he gets killed by an explosion you caused to get through a door.
So even Lara clearing obstacles murders innocent
Yeah, it's
people.
like this guy, like, he poses no threat. And I was like, can I just drag him to safety and just leave him somewhere? It's like, no, I have to kill him by blowing my way through a door. Yes, Lara Croft in those original games gets a Sagat on and commits tiger genocide all up in that bitch. But Lara Croft in the reboots is a horrific, inhuman monster because you get bonus points for headshots. Like, you get bonus points for shooting people in the knee and finishing them off with, like, special kills. One of the upgrades in Rise of the Tomb Raider is to perform a special shotgun execution. And Lara just runs up, puts the shotgun in their face while screaming, and just pulls the trigger. It's like, she's an archaeologist. What the fuck is this? The best way to sum it up is in the first, like, of the reboot games for Tomb Raider. The first thing Lara Croft kills is a deer with a bow and arrow, and it shows you a cutscene of her crying as she kills the deer. 5 minutes later, you're getting bonus experience for headshotting real people. And by the end of the game, you're performing like Far Cry Blood Dragon-esque chain kills on groups of enemies who you are just like slaughtering without mercy using various skills you've learned by just like endlessly killing deer for experience points. It's crazy. You can do this for the audience. You can juxtapose that first cutscene of Lara Croft crying, killing the deer, and then just put in like any random bit of gameplay from later in that same game of Lara Croft in a combat scenario, just like 360 no-scoping people. Oh.
I haven't had a chance to play the Tomb Raider reboots yet.
Oh, they're so bad.
But
they're so funny.
Does she suffer from the curse of Nathan Drake, where she is both the luckiest and unluckiest person in the world?
Every single set piece is just Lara Croft running along a corridor as everything around her explodes at once.
Yeah, like because Nathan Drake cannot catch a break, but he will always survive. Like, I remember the bit where he is in a sinking boat and a chandelier like falls off the ceiling, and he obviously you have to do like the quick time stuff, but he's fine. But the number of times something will break and he'll catch himself. Yeah. Or something will fall and he'll catch himself.
That's a gameplay mechanic in one of the Tomb Raider, like this new Tomb Raider game I'm playing through. You have like the saving catch mechanic, where like you press X at the last moment to catch and stop yourself from falling. And if you don't press it, Lara just falls to her death. But like, are you familiar with, oh God, Brad's trying to get a big dick baller, he's trying to open his beer with something different? With a penny whistle, it looks like. You got it, mate? There we go, we did it. Brad pulled it off.
I did a perfect one downstairs. Carl saw it.
I did. No, he didn't. He's lying. He's just lying to try to get a big dick on camera. The reboot games are good, but because you've not played them, you're probably not aware of the fact there are numerous, horrifically detailed death scenes for Lara Croft that are weirdly sexualised. Have you heard about this?
I'm only familiar with original Lara crumpling into a pile of dust, a pile of crap.
But in the very first reboot game, like, there were loads of death like scenes, like really graphic ones, like she getting killed by traps. But the camera, for some reason, always lingers on her for longer than it needs to, and she always lets out this weird sex moan. It's like, we've got this in all the games, like, my favourite, in Resident Evil 4, every time Leon Kennedy dies, his last thing is, ugh, as he just falls over. But for some reason, it's like Lara Croft just makes, like, a really sexual type moan every time she dies, as the camera lingers on her as the life drains from her body, and it's like, why is this in the game? You spend so much time humanising it and making, like, you want to like this character, and then you just show her, like, get horrifically killed by, like, a button prompt you couldn't see coming.
While we're on the topic, favourite death noise in a game?
It's in Halo 3.
Okay.
In Halo 3, in the multiplayer, because there is, like, a random bug that can happen sometimes if you melee someone to death, where their corpse will just go and ragdoll at 100 miles an hour, but every now and again you just go just forever. But like, if you play as a female elite, they sometimes get the female Spartan scream. So your elite will get flung at 100 miles an hour through the air, like into the stratosphere. They just go. It's so good. What about yours?
The one I was going to suggest is in the Metal Gear Solid games. Obviously not the Snake shouting bit, but whenever Snake dies, there's always the echo where he goes, "Ow, ow, ow."
That's like Street Fighter, isn't it? Whenever like you get knocked out in one of the early Street Fighter games, like, so good. Like Leon Kennedy's got a good one though. Like, no matter what he gets killed by, as he just collapses.
Oh, man. I've got a sound library on my computer.
Yeah.
And there was a folder for screams and mourns. And I was going through this, and one of they've got the girl and the guy mourns, and they're meant to be mourns of pain. Like you can tell by the way they're worded, but they're all just people going, "Oh."
You don't know.
Oh.
Don't kink shame, Brad. Don't do it. None of that on this channel.
I might put one in. I might just put one in the background now.
Go for it. But like the Lara Croft ones, I remember like a lot of reviews going, it's weird how much they're like sexualizing this woman being brutally killed by stuff she can't control. It's like, why are these so graphic?
So back to the original Lara Croft.
Yes.
All these things she sees and discovers, are they like known facts in her universe, or is she actually the first one to discover them?
She's usually the first one to discover them, unless she's like, being chased off following like some shady, agency that's trying to like get to them before she is. But yeah, Lara Croft is largely credited with discovering all of these, mythical, world-changing things. And you'd think, surely in her universe, she is like one of the most famous people of all time. She has proven definitively stuff like there is life after death, mummies are real, I shot a Yeti once, dinosaurs are still alive, also there's UFOs and aliens in Area 51, also I found the Spear of Destiny definitively proving that the Judeo-Christian way of religion is completely 100% correct the way it's written in the Bible. But no, because according to an official biography written by the people who made those games, they say Lara Croft actively distances herself from all of these discoveries and denies that any of them occurred when the press comment on it.
I mean, to be honest, I'd assume that's because she's been followed by groups of people condemning the actions of her just running through these landscapes, shooting everything and breaking all these temples.
It's like, Lara, can you comment on the fact you re-extincted the dinosaurs?
Lara, can you comment on the fact we just found this 1,000-year-old tomb, and within an hour you'd collapsed it, you'd destroyed the entire thing and shot up the wall?
So, can you respond to comment that you were spotted in the tomb of Tutankhamun doing sick backflip combos on his corpse?
Lara, can we ask you why you've got a cupboard in your house full of 500 secret skulls?
Can you tell us why the Ark of the fucking Covenant is holding your bathroom door open?
What? I just see her putting out cigarettes on it.
Yeah, it's established in that biography that she never acknowledges that she's found any of this stuff, to keep it secret from it falling into the wrong hands, which doesn't really make sense when she's got the Ark of the Covenant in her front room or whatever, and that the press obviously get wind of it, and there are a lot of unofficial Lara Croft biographies talking about all this crazy bullshit she's done, that she actively goes out of her way to silence and distance herself from, using her vast, tremendous wealth to sue the fuck out of people who talk about it, even though it's all 100% true, because we as players know she did this stuff.
Wait, so in this universe, she accomplishes all this stuff, and not quietly, I might add.
Yeah.
And yet she tries to lie about it and say it never happened.
Yeah, there's a quote you better put down from the official biography written by the people who made those games. They just say, the only thing that Lara will ever say when asked by the press in the rare interview she ever gives, or by people who write these unofficial biographies of her life, is that they are utter rot and there is no truth to them whatsoever, which we know now is a huge fucking lie. It's like, Lara, you've still got Yeti wounds. You're covered in them. You can't lie about this stuff. You rediscovered and then re-extincted the dinosaurs. You lived through Jurassic Park and Independence Day in the same week.
I've got a fan theory.
What's that?
What if none of these adventures happen and the games we're playing are just the stories that people have made up about Lara's life?
Oh, she's just really, really boring.
Yeah, she's just a really boring person that people keep making stuff up because they never see her. She's got loads of wealth and they don't know why.
That's a good theory, but there was no reason to believe it because those games ended and were rebooted twice. So now we have the Lara Croft that most people are familiar with.
So the title of this video mentions Bigfoot.
Yes.
And you also mentioned that she discovered him earlier. Mm-hmm. But I've played through the games. I remember her killing Yetis, but I don't remember her ever killing actual Bigfoot.
That's because she doesn't encounter Bigfoot in any of those games. She encounters him before the games take place, because there is a cutscene in the very first game in the series where someone throws Lara Croft a magazine that says on the front of it, like, Lara stamps out Bigfoot. And obviously we as like players supposed to sit and go, oh, that's just like, you know, people exaggerating her adventures because this is the first game in the series. But think for a moment about all the stuff we've already talked about Lara discovering over the course of the games that we as players definitively know happened, such as encountering dinosaurs, dragons, aliens, mummies and ghosts. Isn't it plausible that she also, before the events of the first game, encountered, and then according to this magazine, which we know now from the official biography from the people who made the games, Lara would distance herself from and deny ever occurring, encountered and then shot Bigfoot? Because we know for a fact she genocided all those Yetis. That's great. That means from the moment you take control of Lara in that very first game, you're already playing as a person who's beating up Bigfoot. It's so harsh. Is Bigfoot the character with the worst luck in video games? Because I can't think of a video game he appears in where he doesn't get killed.
I can think of video games he doesn't appear in where everyone said he did.
Which one's that?
One of the Grand Theft Autos.
No, but the thing is they put him into one of the other Grand Theft Autos.
Yeah, they added him in because there was a.
And then he's in Red Dead Redemption, and you also shoot him in that.
He's just there to get shot.
Bigfoot just gets shot in everything. Poor Bigfoot. Because I think he's in Grand Theft Auto 5. You just shoot him with a sniper rifle.
It's interesting because in films and TV shows, he gets a good rep. Like, he's the best mate of Tenacious D.
Yeah.
In Futurama, he gets his fuck on.
I love that bit in Futurama. I say, yeah, Bigfoot, if he does exist, requires lots of woodland area to survive, to remain, like, you know, reclusive and out of focus in. It's the idea that Bigfoot is just, like, naturally out of focus for some reason. So I've got another beer brand. Is there anything else dumb I've got to open this thing with?
You can have the comb if you want.
Okay, pass me a comb. I'm going to open a beer with a fucking comb.
Good catch.
Whatever.
I said last time, have you ever opened it with your teeth?
Oh, his comb's a bit flaccid, isn't it?
It's a bit of a comb.
It's comb shit, mate. There we go. Never question my fucking power. Right. And to close off, Brad, do you want to know something I find hilarious about those original Lara Croft Tomb Raider games?
Go on.
According to that official biography written by the makers of the games, Lara Croft is a hero to cryptozoologists and conspiracy theorists.
Why is that funny?
Because they're still called cryptozoologists and conspiracy theorists, aka mental people who don't know what they're talking about, in a universe where we, the player, definitively know the things they believe in are true. Because remember, like a cryptozoologist, like, oh yeah, I believe in cryptids, like the word for like creatures that don't exist. Like Bigfoot, Yetis, dragons exist in that universe. Ghosts are real. Like conspiracy theories, like, oh yeah, there's UFOs and aliens in like Area 51. Oh, that's a conspiracy theory. No, it's not. That's real. That's fact. That's reality in that universe because we saw it. I backflipped over the UFO that's in Area 51 while I was there. They're not conspiracy theories. They're people who know the truth and are actively having that information suppressed by the person who discovered it. That's amazing, isn't it? Like in that universe, Lara Croft is a hero to conspiracy theorists. Even though the things they believe in aren't a conspiracy, they're real because we saw them. I want them to start putting that shit in the newer reboots because that's hilarious. It's a lot like, have you played like any of the recent Assassin's Creeds?
A couple.
Like, do you know the one that's like set in ancient Greece and you play as a Spartan?
Yeah.
Well, it was like Medusas and shit in it. It's like, fuck it, there's just Medusas in this thing now.
So what you're saying is what you want is a graphic scene of a UFO falling on Lara, and as the camera lingers for a few seconds too long, you can just hear her going,
I thought you were going to say the line from The Simpsons. So you want realistic, grounded stories that you can relate to that also star flying wizards and robots. So, yes, that's exactly what I want.
Oh man, video games are one of those mediums that are really like, they really struggle to sort of dance between the line of, let's make this realistic and this is a video game.
Yeah, and as well, I think like a lot of the mechanics of video games sometimes let down the more fantastical elements they introduce. It's like in that Assassin's Creed Origins, where you're in Egypt, I think Anubis is just a wandering enemy in that game. And he's like, oh, it's a glitch. It's like, okay, so it's Anubis, like the Egyptian god of death exists, but why has he got a level? Why has Anubis got a life bar? It's like, why can I defeat Anubis in hand-to-hand combat? It's like in a lot of Final Fantasy games where usually the last enemy is just God. It's like, why has God got a life bar? Why can I just like physically punch God? It's like when you play Final Fantasy VIII and you've got Zell Dings. Because in that game, Zell has a limit break, which is basically you just put in combos and you have like finisher moves, but someone figured out if you just like really quickly mash the first 2 hits of that combo and like, you know, go back and forth between them, you can do more damage than any other move in the entire game, including the main character's ultimate limit break, Renzo Kuken or whatever the fuck it's called, by punching. And then you can finish it off by just doing like, by running around the entire world and punching. You can do like the Flash in that game. And this guy starts, and he's introduced, his most impressive feat is doing a backflip. But by the end of the game, you are physically punching the personification of ultimate power half to death while finishing off by summoning dolphins out of your fists. It's like in Final Fantasy VII. Right, you must have played that.
I haven't.
You haven't? All right, well, bloody hell. You're going to put the clip in for people who haven't, because at the end of Final Fantasy VII, you fight Sephiroth. And his ultimate attack is Supernova, where he summons a meteor that destroys every planet in the solar system, that hits the sun and makes the sun explode, and then the sun comes out and hits your characters, and it does like 3,000 damage. It's like, wow. So my guy, who is a soldier with a big sword, and is like his mate who runs an inn, who punches things, and this other guy who's a dog, they can survive the sun itself exploding in their face and only take half damage because they're wearing a ribbon around their arm. It's fucking great. I love video games so much. Have you got any favourite examples of like some ridiculously powerful entity in a video game who you can just beast on without any effort?
I always found it funny how in Metal Gear Solid 2,
Yes.
Raiden, like the audience spends the entire game making fun of Raiden.
Yeah.
And at the end, if you're on the hardest difficulty, he has to kill 25 Metal Gears.
And he does it as well. Like, canonically, he killed 25 of them, and then he beats the President of the United States in a sword fight, and then he beats up a vampire, and then it's like, and he beats a Harrier. Raiden beats a Harrier jump jet in a fight with a gun. He beats a jet. And then, like, you're like, we've talked about it before, we're going to talk about it again. You fast forward to Metal Gear Revengeance, and you're like, the jobber enemy in that game is Metal Gear Ray. The first enemy you fight is Metal Gear Ray. It's so stupid.
Oh, the thing I found really funny about it, though, is in the first Metal Gear Solid game, obviously, like one of the big showdowns for Snake is him taking out Metal Gear Rex.
Yes.
But he doesn't even destroy it.
Just,
in the fourth game, he gets in it and rides it, which means that...
It still works.
Yeah, he didn't even do the job properly.
Metal Gear has also got the inverse of this. Like in Metal Gear Solid 3, where you fight through all these people who've got like weird, like, you know, pseudo-mystical powers. Like a guy who controls bees, a guy who can fly, and has like the control of a fire. Like an immortal sniper man who harnesses the power of the sun. And then like a guy who can turn invisible, and your final boss fight is just a woman who's really good at punching. It's like, yes, I love that shit. Because she's just a woman who's really good at punching. And she's so tough.
That's the same in every Metal Gear game. The final boss is always just man I punch for a while.
Yeah, oh man,
Like
Metal Gear Solid 4,
Yeah.
where the final fight, after you're doing robo-laser combos to another Metal Gear, is 2 old men having a fist fight.
2 old men just wailing on each other. And you have to, like, you've got to force them to get back to their feet so they can keep on hitting each other.
But then you have like Metal Gear Revengeance. After you beat Excelsior, you fuck up a giant robot spider, your final fight is against a US senator. You just gotta punch him. Oh man. Oh, okay, so fucking good. That final Zandatsu you do against Armstrong is just the fucking best.